The Fourth Estate, breaking news. Alberta reveals spending plans. Wear your face mask. COVID-19 is airborne. NHL player set dates to resume play. With your news anchors, Nikki and Solrak, reporting live at TalaLuvzRadio Worldwide.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Sir Nikki. Good evening, world. Here we are back at the Fourth Estate. Siyempre, welcome back, Soul Rock, and at your service here. We're going to be talking about a few of the things that's been happening in the last week. And guys, let me introduce to you my co-partner.
Yeah, Nikki Gokwan. Good evening, Canada. Good morning, Manila, and Soul Rock. We have a lot to cover tonight. Let's just jump right into it, my friend.
Yes, Sir Nikki. Definitely. Again, welcome back at the show here at the Fourth Estate. We're going to be talking about a few things like what we've said here. Hopefully, you guys can bear with us because we're going to be doing some flash news here for you guys really quickly. So here we are. Everything we need to know about the COVID-19 in Alberta as of today, February 5th. Seniors warned to be aware of vaccine scam. Variant cases potentially exposed. 2 more in schools in Calgary zone. Guys, the province has reported about 396 additional cases of COVID-19 as of today, compared with the 582 new cases reported yesterday. Since reaching a peak of the December 7th a couple months ago at 1,767 new cases per day, the 7-day average of daily new cases has been declining as of February 4th. So great news in that sense. But we have some new COVID variant that's been shocking our province and all over the world. What a scary sight.
Yes, definitely, Solrak. Those new variants are the big question mark right now for these vaccines, right? Are they going to be effective on the new variant, right?
Yes, just when we thought we had some sort of pamatay, no?
Yeah.
panglaban with this corona, but here we are now. Now, guys, since 24 hours, a few days ago, Alberta has changed self-isolation rules for those infected with the variants of COVID-19, and in some cases, people may end up in quarantine up to 24 days. Dr. Hinshaw said. So again, that's another change, and it's a scary thought. You know, here we are, 14 days that we've known in the last year that we have to quarantine. But guys, 24 days once you get infected with this virus. Now, the variant seems to have an infection rate that's 30 to 50% higher than the strain that has been in Alberta so far. England and Ireland have been seeing the variant spread rapidly throughout their populations, and the UK's daily mortality rate is the highest it's been since the start of the pandemic. Guys, and Sir Nikki, as of today, 114,066 Albertans had received the first doses of vaccine. Of those, 23,268 had been fully immunized with a second booster dose. So, guys, we're going to be talking about the vaccine. Sir Nikki, what do we know about the vaccine that seems to be on and on? Every week na lang meron tayong new news about the delays and the shortage of the doses.
Yes, definitely, Solrak. It's bothersome that we're still having some shortages on the vaccine, and that currently we have 78 variant cases already in Alberta as we speak, and There's still some outbreaks also, Solrak, before I jump into the vaccine problem that we have as a country. There's a worker that unfortunately had passed away in an outbreak in another meat plant in Red Deer, and that's at the Alamo pork plant. And the union has called that they cease operation for a while till this is remedied.
Yeah, again, another scary sight. And then that news actually was just delivered earlier this afternoon. With that, also two more of Calgary's zone schools reported with the cases of the variant, Sir Nikki. And again, that, like what we've been saying in the last few months, this new variant, it's got this some sort of a weird mutation that we can get infected right away, and it's very, very dangerous that way. Sir Nikki, you were mentioning about the 78 total variant, and then the outbreak at the Red Deer Alamo pork plant. Now, I want to talk about a little bit more about this vaccine, Sir Nikki, because as far as I know, after weeks of vaccines shortages, Ottawa, is warned the provinces more disruptions are on the way. So far, less than 3% of the population has received at least one dose for far behind from many different countries. We are now 34th, Sir Nikki, in the world in the vaccination over our population. 34th and dropping. Another blow to our country. The delay and shortage of shipment of Moderna delivery has arrived 22% of the original planned of the next week's shipment scheduled to, and this next shipment is scheduled to arrive February 22nd, will be cut too. If I can go on, Canadian officials says we don't know how much and we don't know why. And that was from Major General Danny Fortin. He says that we do not expect to receive 249,000 doses. Now, with that being said, beyond not knowing with regards to what we're expecting for the next 3 weeks, provinces now know nothing what to expect next month, which makes it difficult for a rollout planning for distribution. We don't know what we're expecting to receive from next month, provinces government official says. So again, and here it is. You had mentioned how Ottawa utterly botched Canada's COVID vaccine acquisition.
Yes,
Kasi it was delivered by our Prime Minister earlier. And if you don't mind, just going ahead with this little news from Ottawa.
Yes, despite spending, more money than on the pandemic than anyone else, right? Canada is lagging behind as far as acquiring the vaccines. Solrak, this is quite bothersome. And what's even more bothersome, Solrak, is that there is a company just out in your backyard there.
Yes, sir.
There in Calgary was supposed to be developing a vaccine for Canada and did not get the support that the government should have given them. And if they got that support, Solrak, they would be under third phase of their trials. And currently, this vaccine that they're developing has very minimal side effects. It's even better than what's out in the market right now.
Yes, Sir Nick, and talking about that, that's the Corbella vaccine that's coming here from Calgary. While, like what you said, Trudeau looked to elsewhere. Ito nga, sabi, we are no longer 2 months behind Moderna. We are 1 year behind. If we had 1 billion, we would have finished at the same time as Moderna. But we never but we never asked for 1 billion. We asked for 35 million. Had we gotten out, we wouldn't be starting phase 1 right now. We would be in phase 3. and that was from the CEO, Providence Therapeutics. Bothersome, and Sarniki also earlier, and unfortunately, even my actually Sayid, my daughter, earlier. When we were watching a little bit of a news earlier, we had a glimpse of again Prime Minister Justin Trudeau talking about the shortage of the vaccine, and here we are, and here he was talking about unfortunately so on and so forth. We are receiving delays from where we're actually receiving them from, but don't be alarmed to Canada and also to other countries that we're supporting. Ito pa nga pinagyayabang pa rin yan na meron tayong mga sinusuportahang mga country because we are such a big brother to them na he has the right of mind to say na magtutulong muna siya sa ibang bansa bago tayo matulungan.
Yes.
So just a little side note on that. Sir Nicky, dumako naman tayo sa ibang bansa, no? Lalong-lalo na sa Philippines. With regards to the variant pa rin, no, Sir Nicky, IATF expands list of foreigners allowed to enter PH, which is the Philippines. The Inter-Agency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Disease has expanded the list of foreigners who can enter the Philippines amid the coronavirus disease. And I know recently, I think actually about a couple of months ago, they included Canada to be in the list, not to be allowed to enter Philippines. And now it looks like they're opening up again for foreigners.
Yes, definitely, and they have actually expanded this Solrax for those people who have investors visa. It's actually a case-to-case basis. It depends on how the Bureau of Immigration wants to handle it, and they still have to do their regular quarantine based on the accredited hotels in the city or in Metro Manila.
Yeah, that questions me a lot too, because I know that's something that they have to pocket too, correct?
Yes, this is at their own expense, just like what's happening here in Canada right now, that the government has done the same thing as far as the federal government regulations are concerned.
If we can talk about that a little bit more, I think we have some time. Sir Nicky, and as you know, there's that new rule or that's put in place, especially for the snowbirds that that's right now inside of our border, that they have been asked or to come back, if or when to come back, that they will quarantine and they will be designated to a hotel of the government's choice, and obviously there is some, it's not a fine, but it's a must that they have to do, otherwise they will be fined.
Yes, that definitely, Solrak. A lot of people have questioned why the measures only was done recently after the fact, and they should have been done at the start of the pandemic, and now it's something that's always a reactive measure rather than a proactive measure on the government side.
That is correct. Now, speaking about Philippines, Sir Nicky, there's so many things going on. I keep jumping back and forth here, but there's a lot of things going on, not only here in our backyard, in our country. But I just want to refresh your memory here a little bit. Going back, I think it's remember that news that came about with Napoles, Sir Nicky?
Yes.
Okay. This was a really big news going back. Now, guys, if you were following this story, the ex-Cagayan de Oro congressman found finally guilty of graft and pork barrel scam. Sir Nicky, I'm sure you're pretty fresh on this one here. Do you mind just sharing us a little bit of story behind this?
Yes, definitely. This is basically the biggest one of the biggest scams in the Philippines using government coffers. It's called the pork barrel scam, and Napoles was the one of the main leads, main person behind it, which includes a lot of alleged salons into this corruption scandal, and the court finally has ruled that she's guilty, and with another former salon from Cagayan de Oro City.
Yes, and so Nikki, I think they were also ordered to return the government a total of 28.8 million, representing the amount wrongfully or illegally disbursed. I think you're mentioning also Haraula, I think that's how you pronounce the last name, is separately convicted of direct bribery for receiving at least 2 million in kickbacks from Napoles in exchange of choosing CARE as the partner NGO in the implementation of this PDAF funded livelihood program for farmers in the Lone District of Cagayan de Oro back in 2007. Also, Sir Nikki, an estimated of 10 billion in government funds were allegedly lost to the scheme pocketed by Napoles and the lawmakers she had connived with. So the Supreme Court declared that the PDAF unconstitutional in 2013 following the expose on its misuse. So definitely a big time, and this is a big pork. This is definitely a big pork that was taken out of this, our big pile of scammers back in Philippines.
It's definitely one of the biggest news then was because it involves a lot of officials. Allegedly, these officials were in cahoots with Napoles on this illegal misuse of the government funds.
All right, and Sir Nikki, jumping on, we have another big news also that the court orders for forfeiture of 102 million pesos assets of retired comptroller. The anti-graft court Sandigan Bayan has ordered the forfeiture of the 102 million worth of unlawfully acquired properties of retired military comptroller Jacinto Ligot, his wife Erlinda, and their 3 children. In its 70-page decision promulgated on February 3rd, the court's second division said that the prosecution team of the Philippines of the Ombudsman was able to prove that the total value of properties acquired between 2001 to 2004 was manifestly out of proportion of Ligot's compensation and other lawful income during his term in Armed Forces of the Philippines. Another big one, Sir Nikki.
Yes, definitely, Solrak. All these big scandals have been resolved. There's resolution from the courts, and this is definitely a welcome news and a big flag. It's a big win for the government, definitely for the courts. It's definitely a big win for the people, and this is warning those government officials or even military officials that the courts and the law will catch up on them.
Yeah, and speaking of how big, Sir Nikki, his income from lawful sources was simply not enough to support the mass of his acquisitions. His expenditures surpassed his disposable income by at least 101,761,835 million pesos, it said. Now, Sir Nikki, hopefully this is one of the domino effect that will start to trickle down when it comes to anything unlawfully act that's been going on in the Court of Appeals, because we all know that this is not the only thing that's been going on when it comes to these kind of stuff. There might be other smaller than this, bigger than this, whatsoever. But hopefully, the court or whatever ang pinakamataas na Court of Appeals ng Philippines na matugunan ang mga hinahanap na hustisya ng mga taong bayan.
Yes, definitely, Solrak. People would like to see that there is a resolution to all these graft and corruption cases, and they definitely want to see people penalized for stealing money from government, because it's been a long time that they've really seen someone getting jailed or penalized for something as big as this.
That is 100%. Kasi Sir Nicky, and to all of our viewers and our listeners here, I'm not sure if you know, I'm sure you do. You know, there's a lot of things that we don't know that's going on in the Philippines. Obviously, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa mga paghahatol or kailangan katulan. Alam mo ba, Sir Nicky, ito, no? Recently, nalaman ko din lang na kahit na meron kang court date, okay? Kahit na meron kang court date na binigay sa'yo ng mismong court or Supreme Court, na pumunta ka doon sa korte para sa inyong hearing, okay? Alam mo ba, Sir Nicky, na even na yung mismong judge, he can choose not to go. Okay? And this is not just for any small time or any big time. Lalo na pati sa mga nakakulong sa mga prisons, no? Kaya po napapatagal ang kanilang mga kaso, kaya napapatagal ang kanilang pagkakabilanggo dahil sa mga sitwasyon ganito na hindi ka agad natutugunan at di agad-agad nakakatulan ang mga nagkakasala, kaya o nagkakasala man o hindi, di ba? Lalong tumatagal at talagang pinahihirapan ang ating sistema. So sana, like what we said, na ito na yung mga umpisa na pagbabago, at sana tuloy-tuloy pa na makarinig tayo ng mga ganito mga pagbabago.
Yes, definitely, Solrak. Ang daming mga kaso nakabinbin, ano? Sana maintindihan ng tao na hindi lahat yan meron tayong tinatawag na iba-ibang departamento ng pamahalaan, ano? Meron yung executive, which is, you know, the presidential palace, right? That's the executive branch. And then you have the legislative branch, which is your Senate and your Congress, right? And then andyan yung justice, okay? Judiciary Department. And lahat yan kailangan magtrabaho, ano? Mula sa police papunta doon sa judge, ano? Kailangan yan mabilis ang kilos para gumulong ang hustisya. Kapag mabagal po ang kilos ng ating mga kapulisan o mga operatiba ng NBI, yan bumabagal po rin ang isang kaso.
Tama po. Sir Nicky, bago tayo magtapos ng half hour natin na show dito, at idalhin ang ating special guest, Sir Nicky, let's talk about financial a little bit. Let's talk about what's going on in the world today too. This is probably one of the biggest domino effect that's been happening to everybody. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, meron po tayong tinatawag ngayon na Chip-Pagidon. It's CHIPAGEDDON. Pasensya na kung mali ang pagkaka-pronounce ko, pero yan po. How do you think this will affect you people? For the most part, they go unseen. But computer chips po ito. They are the heart of the digital products that surrounds us. And when supplies run short, it can halt manufacturing. There was a hint of the problem last year when gamers struggled to buy new graphic cards. Apple had to stagger the release of its iPhones. The latest Xbox, the latest PlayStation consoles came nowhere close to meeting the demand. Then just before Christmas, it emerged that the resurgent car industry was facing one insider called this Chip-Pagidon. New cars often include more than 100 microprocessors, and manufacturers were quite simply unable to source them all. Since then, the one technology company after another has warned they too face the constraints. Samsung is fulfill orders for the memory chip. It makes for its own and other products, and so on and so forth. So the pandemic's impact, like much else wrong with the world, the coronavirus is partly to blame. Lockdowns fueled sales of computers. They also bought new gadgets to occupy their time off, and so on. Again, Sir Nikki, we were just talking about this not long ago, and I mentioned this to you, and I mentioned this.
You know, any industry right now is getting heavily impacted with the COVID-19 pandemic, and the biggest thing is manufacturing, right? Definitely, right now, manufacturing, as you have said, Chibagadon, how does that affect you? Well, you know, your iPhone, your PlayStation, your TV, and any other gadget, any electronic gadget, even your vehicle has chips in it. And these microchips are being produced in Asia, and they're being produced in Korea and in Taiwan. That's majority of where they came from, Solrak. And because of the global pandemic, there are some areas also that produce these chips, and they're getting scarce, Solrak. That's the issue we have. So production has been stalled, and we, in my own industry itself, we experienced this, and it took a while for us to get some of the chips, some of the requirements that we need to get the modules running.
Yes, and true. And again, just to share you guys in the automotive industry here, way back in May, when most manufacturers like Ford, for example, GM, and every big players, they had to close down their factory. And unfortunately, this microchip company, they had to keep making their products, right? They have their stuff to do, they have their job to do, and guess what? They were bought out by a lot of big players too, like the Samsung and iPhones, or sorry, Apple, for example. And now the TV industries, or the automotive industry, the computer industry, so on and so forth, like what you mentioned, everything that has chips nowadays now has the shortage. And believe it or not, I know we as a consumer, we're always thinking, oh, the better deals are gonna come ahead. I'm gonna wait for better deals and see if I can get that cheaper sooner rather than later. But guess what, people? And this is not something that I want to scare you guys off. But if you guys think you need it, and you can make use of it now to run your business, to go along with your business, to do with your business, go get it now before you don't have the supply, or before you're going to be waiting for it. If you're a servicing company that needs vans, for example, and you need a vehicle, for example, go get it before you don't have any vehicles to get it. And again, this is not to scare you off, but this is where the industry is going right now.
Exactly, Solrak. And before we end our halftime mark, I want to congratulate you for a job well done on your sales for the month.
Yes, thank you, Sir Nicky. Appreciate that. Sabi nga nila, di ba, dreams don't work unless you do, di ba? So kailangan po talaga na pagtrabahuhin natin at let's keep grinding. Let's find a way to make ourselves better. And yun lang, again, I kept grinding, Sir Nicky. And with that being said, there's a lot of time and hours to be put into it. But at the end, you'll find a result.
Exactly. It's all hard work, Solrak. We have to do the hard work. We have to do all the work, and then we'll reap the rewards.
That's right. And sana sa inyo po rin, mga nanonood na nakikinig. Katulad po ng sabi ni Sir Nicky, ganun lang, di ba? Kailangan po natin pagtrabahuin at you'll reap the rewards at the end. Just make sure that, syempre, hindi tayo nakakasakit or nananakit ng tao. As long as tumutulong tayo sa mga tao, that is our goal. That's our thing. So, with that being said, Sir Nicky, it's our halfway through our show. It's the halftime here at the Fourth Estate, guys. We'll be right back with our special guest. So dyan lang po kayo.
And don't go away.
That's right. Don't go away.
Hi guys, it's Sherry Ann of TalaLuvzRadio Worldwide. TalaLuvzers and TalaLuvz viewers from all over the galaxy. Don't forget to tune in to TalaLuvzRadio Worldwide 24 hours, 7 days a week. Only at www.TalaLuvzRadio.com. And of course, now our very own app is also available for download. So check that out and you can take us wherever you go with our class trance music, because we are the home of the stars where love resides. Spread the love, love, love. A Sunday of praise with your love DJ, Sherry Ann, from 4 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Don't forget to tune in every Mondays, Geek High Girls, from 7 to 8 p.m. Because you feel you, I feel me, I feel you, we feel each other, because we are the Geek High Girls.
Angel and Sherry Ann.
Tune in every Thursdays from 7 to 8 p.m. at TalaLuvzRadio, our local radio here in YYC, with your love DJs, Sherry Ann and DJ Solrak. Every Fridays, Saikari's TV from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time with our DJ, VJ, Saikari's, aka DJ Love. Tune in every Fridays from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. for our breaking news live with Carlos and Tita Nikki.
The Fourth Estate.
Check out every Saturday from all day, only at TalaLuvzRadio Worldwide at www.TalaLuvzRadio.com and our very own app at TalaLuvzRadio. Download it now for a top 40 Billboard charts all day long on Saturdays. Please don't forget to check us out also at our very own hub, our very own network at www.TalaLuvzRadio.com. That's www.TalaLuvzRadio.com. And for the comfort of being able to bring us wherever you go with our 24 hours, 7 days a week class trance music. Because here at TalaLuvzRadio, we are the home of the stars where love resides. TalaLuvzRadio Worldwide.
The Saikari's TV show features a discussion of pop culture topics for kids, including music and social media, presented in English with Tagalog, Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. The Saikari's TV show features a discussion.
So we're back. Tonight we have a special guest, Solrak. He's the former president of the Philippine Business Society of Alberta, and he was recently nominated to be a member of Alberta's Anti-Racism Advisory Council, and he's a member now of that council. Let's welcome the honorable gentleman who owns a business, Sunfright Cargo, Celso Andrade. Good evening, sir.
Good evening po sa lahat.
So,
welcome to the Fourth Estate, Mr. Andrade.
Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din po at you gave us your time for tonight. We know that you're very busy, so we really appreciate the time you're giving us. Sir Nikki, you have any questions for Mr. Andrade?
Yeah, so Mr. Andrade, the Anti-Racism Advisory Council. So can you explain to our kababayans and explain to the people of Canada, what does the Advisory Council do?
The Advisory Council, I'll just give you a brief backgrounder on the purpose of the Alberta Racism Council. The council itself is it's a commitment to the council's values and provides a framework to guide ethical conduct in a way that upholds the integrity and provide the framework to guide ethical conduct in a way that upholds the integrity and reputation of the council. So that means it's a council where the board is composed of 9 members, where the part of the Alberta Anti-Racism Advisory Council, where we advise the Minister of Multiculturalism, Minister Laila here, on the issues regarding racism. As all you know, racism actually is composed of too many aspects of our society. So we will be there to give some insights and collaborate with the community as far as the policies that will be recommended by the group to the Minister of Multiculturalism.
So, Mr. Andrade, as it states here, it will remove systematic barriers to access government programs and services. And so does this mean that you are now the bridge of the Filipino community as far as accessing programs that will protect our kababayans from racism?
To be honest with you, we haven't really had our first meeting. I was appointed last January 28, and we don't really have the background there on our responsibilities. We will have our first meeting on February 18, but nevertheless, as a representative of the community, my role is to move forward any concerns that the community has as far as the multiculturalism, racism issues that's affecting our community. So you're right. I'll be the bridge, and I will try my very best to work on that part. But at the end of the day, it will be a collaboration between me and the community as well. There will be a lot of constant discussions and town hall meetings that I will probably proposing in the near future to hear the concerns and the issues affecting our community. So this will be a process that will be forwarded to the council. So I'll be putting forward a lot of meetings and town halls. Actually, for now, I have been coordinating with our Consul General to have a town hall meeting as far as the concerns of the Filipino community when it comes to racism and any issues affecting our community. So that's about it for now.
Congratulations on your appointment as a member of this council.
Indeed. Congratulations, Mr. Andrade. And by the way, since you mentioned that, also bukas po ang aming stasyon or ang aming programa, the Fourth Estate, syempre po sa anything that you want to share with our community, especially here in Alberta. Bukas po kami dito sa The Fourth Estate para makatulong na maipahayag ang mga inyong balita na pwede pong may share po sa amin.
Well, I'm very glad that I was invited. Imbitahan ako sa gabing ito, and for all you know, I guess Nico knows me from the very start. I've been advocating for a community that will be more inclusive to everybody. So in a way, salamat din sa inyong lahat sa TalaLuvzRadio, and I hope with this medium we could relay the information to everybody that we're an inclusive society. we have a lot of issues that need to be resolved, but at the end of the day, it involves collaboration and conversation. And when it comes to racism, we need to talk to a lot of our Filipino kababayans that racism is not accepted in any platform. So we need to take this issue head on. And with you as the media, I hope that we'll be able to communicate and to inform the masses that we can talk and discuss these things, and we can resolve issues by putting on a lot of recommendations and recommendations to the government. But we're only part of this conversation. You know, we're just contributing to the policies. We'll be suggesting and collaborating with everybody. As all you know, the board is consists of 9 different ethnic minorities in Alberta. Yeah. So it's a very nice and well-groomed group that will be inclusive of everything, you know. So I'm very excited to contribute in any aspect the contribution of the Filipino community when it comes to solving racism in our community.
Very good.
So, Mr. Andrade.
Yes, pa.
For the last few years, racism has been a very big concern, a very big issue worldwide. We've seen talks about white supremacists. We've talked about campaigns for Black Lives Matter because of what happened out in the States, and so on and so forth. And even just recently, I saw a news on Black Teachers Association. So isn't this a bothersome pattern that we're seeing right now?
You know what? At this time, I have a limited idea on those kinds of issues for now, because we will still need to sit down on the policies that was being submitted by the previous board. So as far as you have said, when it comes to those kind of groups, I guess there will be some concern. As far as the Racism Council is concerned, we as a group will definitely be tackling all these kind of issues and head on, and we'll be resolving this within the board, and hopefully we'll be submitting some policy changes and to the government. But for now, I'll be waiting for the directions from the Minister of Multiculturalism and the board as well, when it comes to these kinds of groups, because we need to review a lot of stuff that was submitted to by the previous board. So we'll be sitting down on the 19th and reviewing a lot of the recommendations. So we'll give you a heads up, and we'll keep you updated on the activities of our council.
Yes, the reason why I brought this up is because when you have an organization that specifically states for color, then that itself is highly questionable. I know you haven't really started work, but this is something that I want to raise as a concerned citizen, that any organization should not be pegged as a color. Either color or race or nationality shouldn't be a part of it. It should be general. If we're Albertans, we're Albertans. It has nothing to do with color, nothing to do with race or nationality.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it boils down to the conversation. We need to discuss all the things, and if we will be able to discuss freely and converse freely with people concerned, then we could probably resolve some issues, right? So for me, I guess whenever you talk about this kind of things, it's a matter of like conversing, talking to people and discussing these things to them openly, and what are the issues that we need to resolve. By talking to people like this and discussing these policies to the board, then we could probably revise or maybe change some things, But for now, I cannot say that we will be able to make some headway. But the board will discuss all these things, and it's only part of those kind of things. Only part of the discussions, and racism involves a lot of things: color, creed, group, whatever, employee, organization. So this will be a big discussions that will be coming up, and I hope that we'll be putting some emphasis on that kind of things that you've said. So those kinds of groups there might be some groups that has some of their own personal distinction, but hopefully we will be able to merge, and all those kinds of organizations to be more of a organizations where we welcome everybody, and there's no distinction of color, creed, religion. It's all about an organizations where we welcome everybody, and there's no particular group that I'm black and brown, I'm white or whatever, but if we're teachers, we're teachers. If we're students, we're students. So I hope that we will definitely have a good view of the advisory council's policies when we sit down and have a time to really discuss and review the recommendation of the previous board. And the previous board submitted the recommendations prior to their replacement last year. So the government was not really able to review and tackle a lot of the recommendations when they were sitting as a board, because the government has no time to review the policies that they were able to submit, because they were only able to submit the recommendation just last November last year. So we got a lot of things to do. We're only working for a year. For myself, I only requested for a year, so to make some to join the advisory council, but it can be renewed. But hopefully, within the next 2 years, the board is sitting down will be able to accomplish a lot of things and review a lot of recommendations from workplace, everything as far as racism is concerned. So that's what we're going for now.
Yeah,
Mr.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Sir Nick, Mr. Andrade, meron na po ba kayong has there been any in our community has come forward and basically has requested or has mentioned any of their worries or any of their in their situations? Has they come forward to you at all?
I think I haven't heard of the community right now approaching me on issues as far as racism is concerned, or any issues with regards to that one. But I've been here for the last 50 years, and I myself has endured a lot of things as far as racism. So whatever the community feel during the time, I guess I know the pulse of the community. I've been there, I've done that. But I need to really make sure that the community knows that I'm here to support and hear them, listen to them. What are the concerns that they have? And we're here to listen. And that's the reason why once we have our first meeting, I'll be probably putting a lot of emphasis on community awareness, and whatever the community concern, I'll be listing a lot of stuff, hearing a lot of messages from the community. So I wish I could, with the help of the media, relay all the messages that, please come forward. Let's talk about this, and let's resolve the issue with common sense. So I want to go more forward with that as fast as we can, because we need to make sure that we'll be putting a policy that will be inclusive to everybody. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and knowing where we are in Alberta, it's a very, very diverse community. It would be, to me, it would be a joy to have to be included in this kind of a situation, because as we all know, diba? Dito tayo, we're here in Alberta, such a diverse community, and there's going to be a lot of minds put into it, and there's going to be a lot of issues that will be put into it. And Sir Andrade, do us a favor, raise our flag here, sir. And now we know that you can put our community in the map there.
You know what? I'm just hoping that I'll be putting the community forward, and putting our community first when it comes to this kind of issues. And you know what? I've been there. That's why me and Nikki always talk about a lot of things, back then. And he knows my heart, where I want to go help the community. But I guess this is the time for me to step up and make our community proud that hey, we'll be there to put forward the concerns, and whatever the concerns of the community is, and whatever things that we could help and resolve. Then there's nothing that we could do if the community help and support each other. So at the end of the day, it boils down to me. If I will be able to represent the community with vigor and efficiency, then I'll probably be happy that I've done my job. And I hope that I will. And God's willing, with your cooperation, the media, the people within the business community, the Filipino community in Edmonton, and all over Alberta, I hope that we will come hand in hand, put these things, and then we'll resolve things. There's nothing impossible when people talk and discuss things in a way that we recognize that everybody has its own right to live in a mosaic like Alberta. So,
Mr. Andrade, yeah, a quick question for you, just on your own opinion. You keep on saying, you experience racism, and I believe a lot of people do experience racism. Why does racism exist? Why do you believe racism exists?
Wow, that's a big question, though. Okay, being the first in my first term as a member of the advisory board, it's hard for me to quantum the response that I'll be giving you tonight. But I'll reserve that question. I'll be answering that questions once I have the direction from the board. So I know where we're going, but at the end of the day, my response would be limited, because we have some code of conduct that I need to follow. But for now, I'll bet you, I'll be working hard and hard as everybody else to make these things work. And when I was still working, I know I did my part and I did it. So there's nothing impossible when when you work hard and you do your part, and of course, as I've said, you say the community will always be with you when you do your honest to goodness part. When you do your share, people will understand that you're doing the right thing. We're not perfect, that. We're just human. We made mistakes, but at the end of the day, if you put your 100%, then your 100% will be good enough, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a step forward that you're in there to be able to help the community in general, not just the Filipino community, but the community in general. And as well as having said that, I would also like to know, Celso, if you're going into that meeting with the board, is that in the previous years that the advisory council has been created, has there been anyone who's been penalized because of racism remarks or racism acts? Has there been legislation to prevent this from happening, and are they being penalized? Are they being sent to rehab or jail, or what are the penalties, right, that are put forward? Are there any regulations behind it that would support whatever the council is doing?
Well, I can't respond to you right now on the matter of penalties and policies that was given, and the book was thrown to certain people and individuals. But I will surely give you a heads up. Once I got the information on me, and it will be part of the community enlightenment, the community information session for you, TalaLuvz, Alberta Filipino Journal, all media concerned. It will be a factor for you to know that the government is doing their part as far as resolving these issues. And to be honest with you, this is a top job. The government has to really make sure that we're hearing all sides of the coin, and if we do that, then I guess we're doing our job.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Andrade. I know you're very busy, and we wish you all the best with the Anti-Racism Council, and not just the Filipino community, but the whole of the Alberta community. Wish you luck.
Thank you very much, and I hope also that with your help, we will be able to have a conversations. You're right. Not only the Filipino community, but the community as a whole. The Alberta is a diverse society, and the mosaic of a society is really a good thing to start a conversation on how we could help one another, accept one another, and hear one another. So, in this way, we will live in a society where everybody is accepted and respected by every Albertans and every Canadian.
Maraming salamat po once again, Mr. Andrade, and congratulations po. Siyempre, Soniki, maraming salamat din at napagbigyan tayo ni Mr. Andrade for his time tonight. Well said po with everything that you had mentioned, and definitely we hope that you can do your best. And sabi nyo nga, di ba, you're gonna give your 100%, and for us, siyempre, that would be good, and that would be good enough. And as long as we know you're doing your best, here at TalaLuvz and also at the Fourth Estate, we welcome you also to share, and we can rely on what we can share in the media. Magandang gabi po sa inyo at maraming salamat. So Nikki, it has been a great pleasure of 1 hour again with you here. We've talked about a few things, and hopefully our listeners and our viewers can rely on us when it comes to the facts of our community and also surrounding our provinces here. So again, maraming salamat po sa inyo, sa inyong mga nanonood. Sir Nicky, any last parting words?
Well, Solrak, it's a beautiful thing to see that someone is stepping up, not just for the community, but for Albertans. And racism is a true fact, a true problem that needs to be addressed. And it should not be addressed later. It should be addressed today and now.
Exactly. And wala po talaga. There's no room for racism anywhere in the world. We all know it exists, but there's a way to stop it, and that is right. Putting everybody's head together and just having a common sense amongst each other. And if we can do so, there's nothing stopping us. Here at the Fourth Estate, once again, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat na nanonood sa amin. At magandang gabi, magandang umaga. Sir Nicky, pleasure with you. And see you all next week.
Thank you.